Hello and welcome, everyone. We're a little late to get started, so apologies for that. Just took me a minute to get things together here. But I want to give you a very warm welcome, whether you're here live or whether you're catching the replay, which probably most of you are on the short notice that we were putting this together. But either way, I'm really happy you're here and I'm really excited to bring this conversation forward tonight because I think it's a really important one, not just for you personally as a business owner, but also for the wider industry and the future of our industry in horses. So I want to give you a little bit of the background of like why I'm bringing this forward. I think, well, for myself as a business owner, so I've been in business from sort of about 2015 is when I started dabbling with horses. And at the time, I mean, horses in business. And at the time, I sort of wasn't even really looking to make money out of it as such or to create any sort of a career out of it, although that sounded like a fun idea. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to share my skills with the world. And then as time went on, I decided, okay, I really do want to make a go of this and for this to be my career and something that I do long term. And but I found, well, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and one of those was not realizing that I needed support and guidance and sort of mentorship from a business perspective and a community that would support my ideas, my visions, innovation, and sort of even thinking outside of the box. Um, and then as time went on over the years, I realized, okay, I want to get some support with my business. I want to have some mentorship, learn more about how to run a business, etc. But what I found was I couldn't see, and I still don't see people or support within the equestrian community that is along the lines of the support that I want in terms of leadership, innovation, going for those bigger goals. Like I said before, thinking outside the box, doing things that haven't been done before, bringing concepts into equestrian business that are normal in other businesses. I find that in the equestrian community or businesses, there tends to be a bit of stickiness in old paradigms. So that was sort of some of the advice I was receiving in the very beginning from people who were in the industry, and it just didn't sit well with me. It wasn't what I wanted for my business long term. And so I've gotten support from outside of the industry, and that's really helped me to grow the business and take it in the direction that I want, in the way that makes me happy, and in the way that supports the life that I want to live. And so this conversation is going to be about sort of opening up your mind to what do you want? Like, if in an ideal world, what do you want for yourself from your business? What do you want to share with the world of your talents or your genius or your own products and services? And what sort of remuneration do you want from that? What are your financial goals? What are your bigger visions in terms of how do you want to support yourself, your lifestyle, your family, maybe the community, or charities, or whatever it might be, and then, like, where's your business at the moment in terms of, do you see a clear path from getting to where you are now to where you want to go? And it's not that you have to have the clear path, but what are the mind blocks that immediately come up for you when you think about those things? And a really common one is, and I said we would talk about money. So a really common one is thinking that people won't pay sort of what I want to earn, or there's a lot of people will compare what they're doing with their competitors or who they consider to be their competitors. And that's really something that will just keep you stuck where you are. So tonight we're going to touch on a lot of those things, and it's I'm just going to be like feeding you some questions to reflect on and think about, and you can write your notes down for yourself. I'm going to prompt every now and then to share some things if you want to, but you don't have to. You definitely don't have to. This is going to be recorded, and it's going to be available for other people to watch the replay and do this process for themselves as well. So just keeping that in mind. It's not just who's here tonight. It's going to be available more widely later, and so it's fine if you just want to just listen and do this for yourself. And yeah, so I'm going to be running through some questions, prompting some things, and then I will see if you have any questions for me from what's come up for you through that process towards the end. So I'm planning for this to run for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So we'll have time to get into some nitty-gritty if you want to, and for me to coach you on some things if you want some coaching. And then, yeah, that's what we'll be looking at tonight. So let's dive in and start with, why did you start your business? Like, why was it, why did it go from this is something fun for me, or this is something that I want to do for myself, to this is something I want to share with other people? Like, what's your purpose behind that? Why did you start? Okay, so Tracy says to share knowledge with others and help them. Yeah. And even go deeper than that. Get into how does that help them? And I want you to think from this perspective of, how does this bring value to someone's life? Like, how could your product or service potentially change someone's life, or the trajectory or the quality of their life? And it may be for the humans or the horses. You had an idea of product. I'm just reading the comments here. You had an idea of product that would make their life easier and save them money and improve the life of their horses. Yeah, awesome. So we're touching on the value that this brings to people's lives, and that's a really important thing to really dig into and understand and put words to for yourself and for your customers, because people buy things, products and services that solve their problems, and products and services that bring value to their life. And different people have different values on what things are priority to them, but everybody purchases things that they highly value. So for some people, that's time. For some people, that's like comfort or welfare. There's a whole heap of different things. And so with that in mind, for the value that you bring to people's lives and how you can impact their life, what do you really want to charge for your products and services. So this is ideal world. This is like, I don't want you to put a cap on this. I want you to write down the actual honest thing that you would love to uh, charge for your products and services that would make you feel good, and that would be a match for the value that you provide. And don't get caught up in what you think people want to pay. Don't get caught up in okay, that amount feels greedy, or that amount's going to make me a bad person, or anything like that. We're just talking, what's the amounts that you know your product, and you know what it does, you know your services, you know the impact. So what are those ideal amounts? And you can note them down. By the way, no one here is greedy. You're all humans of high integrity. nobody is out to rip anyone off. That conversation doesn't even need to be on the table. And then, what would feel good for you to receive annually? As in, to support the lifestyle that you want. So is that like, I mean, I don't know, is it $100,000? Is it $750,000? Is it $40,000? Is it, just throw a number out there that feels good to you, that you would like to make annually. And again, don't get caught up in the how, and don't get caught up in that that's too much, or all of those things. We're just talking ideal numbers. Next question. What change do you want to make in the world? So this could be in relation to your own business and your products and services, or it could be in relation to just something that's close to your heart, and that how you want to serve the world, or change that you want to see in the world, and you want to start to make some effect towards that change. And then also, just looping back to money again, if you were making that amount that you noted down before annually, what do you want to do with that money? Do you want to be able to live the lifestyle that feels good and healthy to you? Do you want to be able to buy yourself and your family really good quality food that's produced without chemicals, for example? Do you want to support your elderly parents as they shift into a retirement home? Do you want to have that money in savings for when you retire? Do you want to invest in property? Do you want to take a holiday to Italy every year? Do you want to support a charity that you believe in? Do you want to? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter at all. And there's no judgment. There's no need for judgment around how you spend that money. Just know what some of the things are that you want it for. How do you want to nourish yourself? So, like I mentioned, do you want to travel? Do you want to enjoy luxury experiences just for fun? Do you want to support your health in better ways. And we're so conditioned, I think, to go, that's not important, or that's greedy to want those things, or it's like I could be spending that money, like give that to a homeless person or whatever. But when you nourish yourself and you do the things that make you happy and excited and living a vibrant life, that money that you've spent can recirculate and not just through the community because you're spending it, but also it, what am I trying to say? When you feel better, you put better things out. So when you feel great in yourself and you're grounded and you feel vibrant and alive and you're enjoying life, that's what you're putting out into the world. Like there's generosity doesn't just come in the form of money. And so the way you operate as a human and how you influence other people in your community is really, really valuable. So in the comments, want to buy a new riding horse and refurbish my horse float. Awesome. Yeah. For starters, yeah, great. And 100% can give back more when we're happy and content. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And on that note, how do you want to nourish others that you love and the broader community and the world? And this is not something that I'm saying you have to have a thing or you have to have plans for your money in that way. You don't have to. It's your money. You get to do whatever you want with it. But if there is some way that you are motivated to earn money for that purpose, for nourishing others, then write that down as well. So I'm going to switch topics a little bit here, and we're going to start talking about you as a business owner and as a leader or an innovator in the industry in what you do. Because all of us started this because there was a need for something. There was a need for it. And we saw that we wanted to help people in that way. So, but in doing that, or in providing a product or service that maybe isn't already in the marketplace or is a little bit different from what is already provided, there can be some pushback from that or just a feeling of vulnerability as you put that out into the world. And so just the fact that you've started your business and you've done that and you're still here and you've taken that step shows that you are a leader, because it takes guts to do that. And what I find though is that after a few years in business, a lot of people get sort of into this comfort zone. They're kind of still talking about the things from when they started, and they're in like this, they're cruising along because their audience and their customers are familiar with what they've already put out. But by this time, you as a business owner have evolved a little bit. Your ideas have evolved. Maybe your products have evolved. You want to serve your clients and community maybe certainly in some different ways. But there's this kind of feeling of like, or maybe I won't say that. Maybe I won't put that out there, because you've got to take that next step of vulnerability again. So with that in mind, in your niche, what do you see that needs to be said in the industry or in your niche? What's something that maybe peeves you a little bit, or you see going on in the industry and you're like, it's not quite right. This needs to be said. People need to know this. People need this information. What needs to be said that maybe other people are thinking, but nobody's brave enough to stand up and say it? And how does the way you do things set you apart from the industry? This can be hard to pinpoint sometimes if you are doing the same things as multiple other people. But there are always things that set you apart from the rest of the industry, whether that be your unique approach in how you do things, your perspectives, can even be like your personality or the values of your brand. It can be your unique skill set. For example, the things that I talk about in horsemanship around leadership and safety for the horse and herd dynamics and having like mental and physical balance and all of those things pulled together. I have a unique way of explaining that, and I have a unique combination of things. Although other people in the industry are talking about it, I have a unique approach. I have a unique personality. I have a unique way of working with my clients. Could be you might have a unique product. Could be your customer experience or the way your customers experience interacting with your brand is different, or it has a certain flavor to it. Your communication style, the passion that you have for your craft, your ethics. There are so many things that can make you unique. And when you know what they are, you can really double down on those. And you'll attract the people who vibe with that. If there was no hate on the internet or in the world, how would you show up and sell differently than you do now? If there was nobody who was going to say, oh, that's crap, or my coach told me this, and that's what this person's saying is not right, or somebody sharing your post in some big group that likes to pick people apart. If there was none of that on the internet, how would you show up and sell? What would you say? In the comments, a lot more confidently, 100%. And just backtracking a bit, I'd like to think, so I think this was to do with your unique, the things that set you apart in your industry. I'd like to think more personalized customer service and attention to detail with products and orders. Yeah, just more personal service in general. Awesome. Yeah, capitalize on that. And again, that's talking about values from earlier on. People who value being respected, people who value customer service in that way are really going to be drawn to your product and your way of doing things. So within your niche, your service, your product, whatever, what hill are you willing to die on? Like, what's the thing that you believe in that you're going to say and preach till the day that you die, because it's just like, it is just fact in your mind. and from your experience and with what you see and know, like what's the hill that you're willing to die on? And this is usually something that really underpins or is part of your core why for starting your business and for putting your product and service out into the world. So, for example, an example might be if we look at farriers versus barefoot trimmers, and I just want to start this by saying I have no like bias here. I don't want to get into any sort of an argument, but farriers who are really committed to their craft and to doing things in the way that they know works, and they have experience and case studies and all of that in that, that's the hill that they're willing to die on. They might have a certain product that they know fixes a certain problem, and like that's the hill that they're willing to die on. And then your barefoot trimmers coming from a different angle and having their way of doing things, they've got their hill that they're willing to die on as well. And all of those things are valid. Like there's horses for courses. So every business or every brand has a hill that they're willing to die on, I would say. So in innovation, what solutions do you see for your customers in the industry? And are you bringing that to the table? So obviously you started your business with providing a service or a solution of some sort, but now in today's age, in the current environment and climate, are there things that you're seeing or solutions that you're seeing for your customers, for your audience, that you could bring to the table, but you're not? Or you keep thinking, I should do that, or maybe like that's something that I want to do, but you're not. And where are you holding back for fear of being odd or weird, talked about, rejected, or just like too different from what's the norm? Um, and then moving on to future you, or like your, yeah, I've actually got noted down here 10x you being in your full potential. Where are you holding back or reneging on your dreams or goals because you haven't hit them yet? So where have you like tried something or gone for something and you haven't hit it, and then you're like, I give up. Doesn't work for me. Or I'm not the person to do that. And where have you decided that you can't do that big thing? You can't go for that next big thing that you want to do because you haven't done the smallest, the steps leading up to that yet, or you haven't done the smaller thing yet. And where are you convinced that you have to prove yourself to enough people and get their tick of approval before you publicly declare and own what you know you are capable of doing or providing as a service? And where are you playing small and clipping your own wings to not ruffle other feathers? Because you don't see anyone in the industry already doing that thing that you want to do. And you know, people are going to look at it and be like annoyed or suspicious or cynical. Mm-hmm. In the comments, love these questions, very thought provoking and challenging. Absolutely, they are. I need to go back through these myself for me. And then moving on to your, I've got written down here boundaries, but it's probably more broadly customer interactions and yeah, like sales interactions and follow up and that sort of thing. So when you think about selling your current offers or your products, how does that feel in your body? Like when you think about selling, how do you feel in your body? What's your body telling you about how comfortable you are or aren't about asking for money in exchange for value that you provide? And then where do you think that feeling comes from? Or like what's the underlying trigger or experience or memory or paradigm or something you've learned from someone else? Where does that feeling come from? And what do you think needs to shift for you to feel excited about selling your current offers or services or products and being excited to make that exchange of the value you provide for money? Where in your business do you feel vulnerable? So I'm talking like legally vulnerable, financially vulnerable, it maybe even like emotionally vulnerable in client interactions, things like that. What parts of your business come up when you think about where do you feel vulnerable? And where in your business do you feel stretched or anxious or burned out? Where do you need to put safeguards or boundaries in place to protect, number one, your business as an entity, and number two, your own health and well-being as a CEO and operator of the business and a human being who has a life? Where are you giving leniency or allowing late payments or giving refunds that you know is like you really shouldn't be giving? Where are you letting down your boundaries to please other people where it's actually not fair that you should be doing that? And then finally, what is the number one thing, like through this whole conversation, that we brought up a lot of things, we've touched on a lot of different things, but what would you say is the number one thing that has really landed for you and you've gone, that thing I really need to do something about, or I'm committed to doing something about that? Whether it's for yourself in terms of the lifestyle, or whether it's like protecting your business, it doesn't matter what it is. But what area of this do you feel like is the thing that you're going to prioritize to shift and start working on in your business? And then I want you to take a moment here to make a declaration on that thing that you want to change or shift or start to focus on for yourself as a priority. So you might say something like, by the end of the month, I'm going to start moving towards this goal, or I'm going to shift this in my business, or I'm going to close up that loophole in my terms and conditions that people are using to get refunds where they shouldn't be, or I'm going to do whatever it might be. I'm going to set up a contract instead of just winging it. Or I'm going to start giving myself time. I'm going to start knocking off at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. at the time that, to start to prioritize me as the CEO and human that's running this business so it's sustainable. So just one thing that is top of mind for you. And I'm going to open up the floor for questions on anything that's come up or anything else you want to ask me. So in the comments, you're going to change my pricing to reflect the value I'm giving and stop undercharging because I feel guilty charging more. Yes. So many people are undercharging because of guilt. So yeah, I love that. Change your pricing to reflect the value you're giving. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. By when? Give yourself a time frame. It doesn't have to be all your products or all your prices, but pick one to start with and give yourself a time frame. Next week. Cool. I love it. All right. So are there any questions on anything that I've touched on so far or tonight? Anything that challenged you? Actually, I meant to say at the start of the call, some of these things that I'm bringing up are going to be triggering for some people, as in like, oh, that's a bit much to like think about for myself. It's a bit much to say that I want, money's a big one. Money's got so much emotion wrapped around it, but it's a bit much to say that I want to earn that much money, or that I get to spend it on myself, or I shouldn't be lenient with my clients. Were there any areas that come up that were particularly challenging? I think my struggle is the self-belief and valuing myself. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a common, really common one. Um, and it simply starts by actively valuing yourself in actions. So that might be, like was in the comments before, that might be going, hey, I'm actually providing a really great service here. I need to raise my prices to match that. That might be setting those boundaries with your clients. It might be taking time out for yourself, or even just time, sometimes just time to think about what you really want out of your business and out of life and out of the time that you put into your business. And when you start to actively value yourself, that compounds. Money is a huge one. To say what I want without feeling guilty or greedy. Yeah. And this is a really big reason to why I put this call on and why I'm, in the starting stages of creating the community that I'm creating to support people like all of you who are going to be watching this, that you can, to be able to say, I want to earn this much, or I want to, go and do big things where you're on a world stage or whatever it is, without feeling guilty or greedy that you want too much, and without having people reflecting back to you that, no, that's too much. Like, oh, we're uncomfortable with that. Or did she really say that out loud? And so one of the things that has made a massive difference for me is being in spaces, in rooms, or in, Zoom rooms, even with people who are not intimidated by the things that I want to achieve, and people who are achieving way bigger things than what I am, but they're in the places where I want to go. And so that's how you can normalize these conversations and these bigger visions that you have. And yeah. And with that being said, I'm going to be opening up a mastermind space next month in September for that purpose. So it'll be a safe space to really go for what you want, and be witnessed by other people who are going for big things as well, and who are not intimidated, not afraid to say that, and not afraid to step out and do it. Okay. So if you want details on that, you either need to be on my email list or in the equine business community that I have on Facebook. If you're not part of that, just message me. Okay. You're on the email list. Awesome. Yes, you are. Yeah, just get in touch with me if you are not currently getting emails from me about that, or if you want to jump into the free Facebook community, and you will get all the updates on that. I'm also going to be opening up a Telegram channel where for 14 days I'm going to be giving you mini trainings, like little discussions around my experiences in the last 10 years of business in the horse industry, on some of these topics that we've talked about today. So also like covering pricing and boundaries and contracts and, promoting yourself and going for those bigger visions and all of those things. I'm going to be giving or dropping in there sort of bite-sized mini trainings or discussions on that for 14 days. So that's going to be available or starting next week. And that's $129. On Telegram, I don't know if I mentioned that. On Telegram, the app, so it drops in voice messages and you can listen to them back and you get to keep them forever. And yeah. So that will just give you a bit more context into some of the things that I've, done really successfully over the last number of years, including, and I think this is a really a good one to mention, is that I've always had excellent clients. So if you want good clients, I'll be sharing how I do that. People who pay on time. Facts, yes. All right. So, are there any more questions before we finish up? How are you feeling? How are you feeling now that I've we've dug in and pulled out all these things, all these underlying things? Great to have others who are into this kind of thing. Yep. Definitely. Community conversations is huge. It's so good to even be able to bounce or just have that like mind. Yeah. Which is why I set up this conversation and, I'll be doing more in that community and the mastermind going forward. So are there any other questions before we close out? We're coming up to the hour, so can't think of any. All good. Awesome. Well, if you were here live, thank you very much. It's awesome to see you. And if you're watching the replay, if you want to jump on my email list or inquire about anything, just send me a message on Facebook. So Focused Equine Nicole Worth is my Facebook page where you can contact me. And I hope to see you all soon and talk to you soon. Have a good night.